Okay, today class we're going to be looking at dividing fractions. That is your title, and your LO is in the green box to know how to divide fractions. So first of all, if we can pause the video and you can spend 10 minutes working through the retrieval task. If you can now use your green pens to copy down some of the worked examples for the ones that you struggled with or got wrong, and mark the ones that you got right. Are you starting to see the areas where you need to focus your attentions with regards to strengthening your skills? So our success criteria for this lesson is we're going to use the KCF method. So you keep the first fraction, you then change the divide symbol to a multiply, and then you flip the second fraction. So you find the second fraction's reciprocal. And then you multiply the top by the top, the bottom by the bottom. So let's have a look at this first one. So we keep our first fraction. We keep our 5/6. Keep that. Yep. Check. We then change the symbol, so that's where our C comes in. We then change the symbol, so that's become multiply. Tick. And then we flip the second fraction, which is our 7/8. So that becomes 8/7. Perfect. So now what we've done is they've cross-simplified. So we get a little different pen colour. So they've gone right. So this here is in the 2 times tables, as is this. So our 5 on the top has stayed the same. Our 6 on the bottom has become a 3 because it's been divided by 2. And because we've divided something on the bottom by 2, something on the top must be divided by 2, which is our 8. So now we just have to multiply our numerators together. So 5 times by 4 gives us 20. And multiply our denominators together, the bottom numbers, which gives us 3 times by 7, which gives us 21. So we got 20/21. If you can now pause the video and use the keep, change, flip method to work out the we do. You have 30 seconds. Okay, so we kept the first fraction, check. Divide becomes a multiply, check. And then flip the last one. So 7/8 becomes 8/7. Now cross simplify. Catch me out if I make any mistakes here, guys. So the 8 and the 12 are both in the 4 times tables. So we can divide by 4. Divide by 4. And we times the top by the top, which gives us 10. Divide the bottom by the bottom, which gives us 21. So make sure you've got that down. So now we've got some mixed numbers involved. So as we always do, start off by turning our mixed number into a improper fraction. So the 1/1 would be 8/8, and then we've still got 7/8, so that's 15/8 in total. So now we keep the first fraction, check, change the symbol, check, and we find the reciprocal of the next fraction, which instead of 15/8 is now 8/15. So now we've cross multiplied. Now we can do 2 cross multiplications. Oops. So now we can do 2 cross multiplications. So we can do 8 and 12. And we can also do 5 and 15. So our 5 and 15 are both divisible by 5. So the 15 becomes 3 and the 5 becomes 1. So now we multiply the top by the top, which gives us 2, bottom by the bottom, which gives us 9. Now pause the video, spend 30 seconds trying to solve the we do. So here we go. We've turned it from a mixed number to improper. We've kept the first one. We then change the symbol. Yep. And then we flip our last fraction, find its reciprocal. So then we've cross simplified. They're both divisible by 2, so that becomes 3, and that becomes 4. And then these two again can be simplified by 5. They're divisible by 5. So now we times the top by the top, 4 times 1, and we times the bottom by the bottom, which gives us 9. So make sure you've copied that down. Now let's have a look at some more. So we turn them improper, keep the first fraction, change the symbol, and flip the third fraction. So 10 over 6 becomes 6 over 10. We then look to cross simplify. So they're both divisible by 6, and that are both divisible by 5. So we times the top by the top, and the bottom by the bottom, and we get a half. So if you can now pause the video, spend 30 seconds trying to solve the we do. So now let's have a look. So 5 over 12 stays as is, we keep that. We then change the symbol, so it goes from divide to times. And then we flip our 20 over 12 and it comes to 12 over 20. Again, cross simplify to make things easier. So we got 12 and 12 there. So they can both be divided by 12 and they'll both become 1. I'll just show you where they become 1. And then we've got 5 and 20, which are both divisible by 5. See, 5 becomes 1. Only 20 divided by 5 becomes 4. So now we times the top by the top, which gives. So again, now the only difference is now we have a whole number. So we need to turn that into a fraction to start with. So we've got 6, and to turn that into a fraction, it'd be 6 over 1. Now we just go through the same method. We keep the first fraction, we change the operation from divide to multiply, and then we find the reciprocal. We flip the 6 over 1 to 1 over 6. We've then cross simplified, so we've noticed that we have 8 and 6, which are both divisible by 2. So 8 divided by 2 gives us 4, 6 divided by 2 gives us 3. And then we've multiplied the top by the top, which gives us 4. And we multiplied the bottom by the bottom, which gives us 36. We can then simplify these even further by dividing the top by 3, dividing the top by 4, and also dividing the bottom by 4. Because we've divided the top and the bottom by the same number, our fraction is still equivalent. So it's still the correct answer. There we go. So if you can pause the video now, spend 30 seconds trying to solve the we do. So here we go. 6 becomes 6 over 1. We k, keep the first fraction. We c, change the symbol. We f, flip the fraction. And then what we do is we notice that our 9 and our 6 are both divisible by 3. We notice that our 12 and 1 are already as simplified as they can be, so we times the top by the top, which is 3 times 1. We times the bottom by the bottom, the denominator by the denominator, and it gives us 24. We can then simplify that further and get 1/8. Make sure you've copied that down. So now, it's almost like we're working in there's more than one operation now. So our 6, turn that into 6 over 1. Our 4, we're going to leave as it is for the time being. So first of all, let's do 6 divided by 9 over 12. So we keep the first fraction, 6. So we've kept our first fraction. We've changed our operation to a multiplies, and then we've flipped our fraction. So 12 over 9 has become, 9 over 12 has become 12 over 9. So now we've looked at our 6 and our 9, and the 6 can be divided by 3 to give us 2. The 9 can be divided by 3 to give us 3. So now we multiply top by the top, and it gives us 24. Multiply the bottom by the bottom, which gives us 3. So now we've got 24 divided by 3, which, how many times was 8? How many times was 3 going to 24? It's 8 times. So now we do 8 divided by 4. We know that equals 2. So we've performed the original, we've performed this first bit here, and then that has left us in a position to divide by 4. So if you can pause the video now and try and solve the we do, you have 30 seconds. So now let's have a look. So we've turned our 6 into a fraction. We have kept it. We've then changed our operation to a multiply. And then we've flipped our 8 over 12. So now, again, we've gone 6 and 8 there, both divisible by 2. So that gives us 3. And this here will give us 4. So we've done 3 times by 12 gives us 36. And 1 times by 4 gives us 4. So we know that 4 goes into 36 9 times. So 9 divided by 3 gives us 3. Make sure you've copied that down. Now here are some questions for you to complete. Remember to read the question. It states, remember to simplify your answers where possible. So you have 5 minutes. You can pause the video, try and complete these now. Okay, so here are the answers. Very fortunately, on some of the answers, they've actually given you it as a mixed number and as an improper fraction. Make sure you're using your green pens now. Green pens to correct and mark the work. Here we go, here's some more, a little bit trickier now. We have some integers in there, we have some mixed numbers. You now have another 5 minutes to work through these. And here we go, here are the answers for the second set of questions. Make sure you're marking these with green pen and correcting any that need correcting. And finally, give you 3 minutes to work through these. These are the real challenge questions. And here are your answers. Again, here's a chance to look at that Turing patterns in biology. Have a look at that article, and again, chance to reflect on any extra learning you might need to complete for maths, be that Hegarty, be that homework. What are the areas that you feel like you need to strengthen for this topic and for this term? You can always use Hegarty Maths to do your own independent learning. So well done guys, now's a moment for the teacher to award top award and academic points. Have a good day.